To be joined by Ducks head coach Dan Lanning ahead of this weekend's spring game. Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. And why don't we start there? Because so many different places, different approaches to what the spring game is and isn't. What will yours look like from a format and physicality standpoint?
Yeah, we're going to play football. We'll play tackle football. I think that's just something that's really important. I don't think that every place has what we're able to create here. We'll have something close to a game day atmosphere with a lot of our fans there in the stands. And I think that's really important for our players to create that opportunity where live bullets are firing and you get a chance to really play ball. We won't be live on our quarterback, but outside of that, we're going to play a real football game, real 2-minute scenarios in a 4-quarter game.
How much conversation was there about that with you and your staff? Why is it so important for you to put these guys in that kind of situation at the end of spring ball?
There really wasn't a conversation. It's something we knew we wanted to do. We've had a spring game every single year since we've been here. I think it's a great opportunity for guys to get that chance to compete, and coaches evaluate guys in those situations. We have a bunch of talented players, and we need to take advantage of every opportunity we can to get on the field.
You mentioned the quarterbacks will hopefully stay clean this weekend. Where's that competition stand? Obviously, the two guys that everybody talking about, Dante Moore and Austin Novosad, but other guys in that room as well will, I'm assuming, get some run this weekend.
Yeah, you're going to see all of our quarterbacks, and they've all done a phenomenal job this spring. Austin, Dante, you'll see KJ, Luke Moga, Brock Thomas. There's been some really competitive periods in practice, and those guys are taking advantage of it. So we just want to see them go out there and operate clean, protect the ball, take advantage of opportunities when they have that chance, and throw the ball down the field when we get an opportunity as well.
What's jumped out as you've watched the quarterback room throughout spring ball?
Just the confidence building, right? Confidence building. I think experience is the great equalizer at quarterback, and it's probably more important there. It's easy to talk through a play on a diagram or on film. It's a little bit different when there's live rushers coming at you, and those guys have handled it really well this spring. Coach Stein and offensive staff have really challenged them from the amount of install that they can handle and the freedom that our quarterback has to make checks and get us in the right place.
Jordan James did so many things, more than just running the football, but that room does return some experience, Noah among others. What have you seen from the running back group, and how deep do you think you'll be in that room this season?
Yeah, it's a good group. It's a really good group. Noah's the guy returning probably with the most experience. He's a guy that we trust back there. Has done an unbelievable job in special teams, and was really coming back from an injury this past season. So excited to see what year he will have. And then we have some new faces in there as well as some young faces, and I think it's a group that can compete to make a lot of impact plays for us this season.
Out wide, Evan Stewart seems to be like a guy who is ready to have a massive breakout year. Obviously, those of us in this league, in your area, know what he can do. Perhaps a guy that takes the national stage this year. What's the next step for him? Who else can help him on the edges?
Yeah, I mean, it's a talented room, and there's a lot of guys in there that can help. Evan, certainly we're poised for him to have a great season this year. Was a dynamic player for us this past year. And I think just another year of experience, another year in the system is really going to help him. We have some new faces and some old faces, brought in Malik Benson, but we also have some guys like Kyler Casper, Justice Lowe, Gary Bryant that have been here, and then some new faces, as well with Jeremiah McClellan, Corian, and Cooper Perry. A lot of guys. I'm probably doing it a disservice because there's a lot of guys I think that can make plays in that room that have been able to help us. Dylan Gresham's had a great spring as well. So it's going to be fun for us to see that game day environment and who steps up.
You've had a lot of good wide receivers. What makes Evan specifically special?
Yeah, I think the ability to adjust to the ball, catch the ball in tough locations. I think that's one of his special traits, is catch radius and how he's able to frame it.
Dan, you have one starter, I believe, full-time starter back from last year's O-line. It was such a position of strength. Joe Moore Award finalist. You attacked the portal to try to fill some of that void with guys who have a lot of experience at this level. How has that played out through spring ball and kind of building that offensive line chemistry?
Yeah, I just got done in a team meeting showing some clips of our O-line moving the defensive line from practice yesterday. So, the chemistry is something that's always a process. That's got to continue to come along. That doesn't happen overnight. But we have talent in that group. And we have some guys that had some good experience last year, in roles coming off the bench as well. So I'm excited to see what we got there. But definitely pleased with the guys that we were able to add to our team and see what they do.
lose some production and experience up front defensively on that line. But I know with injuries last year, specifically to Jordan, it gave guys like Mateo Uyunglele a chance to show flashes of maybe the potential to be one of the best defensive players, certainly one of the best rushers in this country. How much better do you think Mateo can be with a full run this year, knowing that he has the chance to be one of the guys on your defense?
Yeah, he's been one of the guys, right? Him and Tatum are really bookend guys for us that have done unbelievable jobs. But this is definitely an opportunity for him to step up in a leadership role, his role grow even more. If he makes the same steps and advances that he did this past season, he's going to have an opportunity to be an unbelievable player and one of the guys that we remember for a long time as an Oregon Duck.
On the back seven, you appear to be deep, but it seems like it will be a different look with some new faces, especially in the secondary. How comfortable are you right now with where that defensive backfield stands?
Well, I'm comfortable at this point in spring. You know, we still got a lot of growth by the time we get to our first game. But again, I think the group looks different. We've got a longer group, a group of great size and athleticism. We as coaches probably have to vary a little bit more of what we do to give them the opportunity to learn. You know, we had an experienced group last year who was able to handle a lot of volume. We'll probably trim the volume back a little bit this season and make sure that we're able to let these guys execute at a high level. But a good, talented group that just needs that experience.
Dan, I mentioned the portal that you did work in offensive line, other positions, but you had a phenomenal haul in the traditional recruiting window. Obviously, some of those guys like to early enroll. How many early enrolled? And among those guys that maybe did, has anybody kind of jumped out as being a player that could potentially be an impact player for you this fall?
Yeah, I rarely take this opportunity to point out guys that have done, you know, a great job as freshmen because it's still early, right? There's still time to see. And that being said, I'm really excited about the group we got. Basically, every one of our players on our team is here, excluding 3 guys that'll be coming in the summer. So we were able to get a lot of great work with them this spring. And I do think there'll be some freshmen that are making a big impact for us early this year.
Dan, I want to finish here with a schedule question because, honestly, despite some research, I have no idea how this actually works. You have 2 of the longest road trips possible, right? You go to Penn State, you go to Rutgers, but in the final 6 weeks of the season, I think you'll only leave the Western time zone once. So I'm curious, when it comes to scheduling, I know the conference is in charge of it. How much of it is a give and take between you, your AD, Rob Mullins, and the conference to try to make it as equitable for everyone as possible?
You know, I've really learned to focus on what I can control, and that's not one of those things that I necessarily control. You know, the Big Ten's been great to us, and some of the challenges that come with travel is something that's going to build and prepare your team for the future. So excited wherever they put us, put the ball down in the parking lot. Doesn't really matter to us. It's a great opportunity for us to develop, and then we'll adapt as coaches.
That's perfect, and I can follow up with Rob a little bit more the next time I see him. Always a guy who's good for a good chat. Dan Lanning, really appreciate the input and the insight. Look forward to watching you guys on the field this coming Saturday.
Thank you, Rick. Have a great one.